A Twisted Time. Chapter 12, Striking a Deal. 2 days upon Team 7's return to Konoha, Sakura found herself in an enormous lab on the upper floors of the village's hospital, gathering medical supplies for a hysterectomy. Only minutes prior, Sakura had been informed that a middle-aged female villager was about to have urine fibroids causing internal bleeding beyond repair of medical jutsu. Her uterus needed to be removed, lest her life was in jeopardy. Now, the real question was how Sakura wound up preparing for such a complicated procedure in the first place. Well, once Sakura's wounds healed, Team 7's mission in Light of the Waves came to a close. After an informal burial was held for Zabuza, Tazuna announced that he would name his bridge after the village's heroes, Team 7. And after they had gone through a mission they were only paid B-rank mission wages for, they deserved it. In addition to sparking bravery among the Light of the Waves citizens to stand up to Gato, limiting a dangerous rogue mercenary, and assuring that the bridge connecting the land to neighboring nations was constructed safely, certain member of Team 7 was also seeking to revolutionize the nation's healthcare system. Team 7, Taza said thoughtfully amidst their final farewells. Nice ring to it, don't you think? Sakura smiled to herself while she polished the knife for the surgery. It certainly did. As it turned out, personnel at the hospital at Konoha seemed to know of her pink medic reputation, before she even showed up for a volunteer shift that morning. Promptly, Sakura was escorted to a small office and instructed to write a particularly challenging exam that entry-level medics were required to take. Despite the short notice and lack of resources she had to study from, Sakura aced it. She not only wrote this exam, but was also responsible for evaluating incoming medics' responses to this very test in her former life. Sakura's examiners were stunned by her flawless test score. Gracie was entitled to an enormous promotion. However, there were a few notable limitations. First, she didn't have enough experience to work as a medic, or so it seemed. She was only able to work part-time due to her ninja training. So what was agreed on was that Sakura would work in a paid role as a doctor's PA. And she really couldn't complain about the opportunity. After spending weeks filing documents for free, being offered a salary and a chance to work in an environment where she might enhance her medical ninjutsu was a huge upgrade. Finally, she could get a chance to network with superiors, access to hospital technical resources, and earn more money to expand her personal stockpile of weapons and medical supplies. Alas, after lunch on the day she wrote the exam, Sakura was positioned under the supervision of a doctor named Ayame and instructed to help her with an upcoming procedure, a hysterectomy. For now, Sakura's recent concerns over having a growing reputation were on the back burner, because things were looking pretty good since the mission in the Land of Waves. And what became of Haku? Sakura saw him once, only briefly, while he was being patched up in a makeshift hospital after the battle. He was tried immediately afterwards, and, according to Naruto, was released on the conditions that he complete a few months of community service work, and his future activity was monitored. He obliged to agree graciously. Sakura couldn't help wonder if Haku's survival would change the course of events. Surely it would somehow, but as Kakashi said after Sasuke voiced his own concerns about the masked boy remaining free, Haku isn't an enemy anymore. Tazuna is our client, and he convinced the boy isn't a threat, so our services are no longer needed. Of course, Kakashi was right. It would be foolish to chastise Haku further. Meddling in the Land of Waves' internal affairs without warrant would spark international conflict. So whether or not Haku surviving was a good thing, for now, it wasn't Sakura's problem. When Sakura arrived home after the mission, she was relieved to find that the time travel scroll was safe and sound in her underwear drawer, that the transformation jutsu she put it on ages ago was still holding. She examined the scroll carefully for any indication it had been tampered with while she was away. It passed her inspection. None of the trash Sasuke laid out in her room had been set off either. She exhaled deeply with relief and folded the lacily red underwear back into the drawer. After her morning shower on the third day back at the village, Sakura paused before a body-length mirror she had pulled on, seeing her back shorts and a red training dress with slits down the side. Her body was leaner and noticeably more toned than it was a month ago when she started her new life. It was still smaller than it used to be, naturally, and less curvy too, she noted. But she didn't look as expensive as a scrying twig. She smiled at her reflection, Let's keep this up, she mumbled to herself, and soon we'll be stronger than I was when I was older. She chuckled softly at how ridiculous the statement sounded before slipping on her head protector, grabbing her weapon pouch, backpack, wallet, and setting out for the academy. Only 9 academy students in Sakura's year graduated to become full-fledged ninjas. The 9, commonly referred to as the Rookie 9 among their seniors, consisted of teams 7, 8, and 10. For the first time since their graduation a month ago, the group would assemble at the academy today to write progress reports. When Sakura entered the classroom, one member from each team was already there. Shikamaru Nara, lazy genius from Team 10, had his feet propped up on his desk near the door and appeared to be napping. He was wearing his default unimpressed look, long nose crinkled and his lips pulled into a frown, long brown hair tied to a tight ponytail at the crown of his head. No question, he was only here so early because his mother forced him to be. If it weren't to him, he spent his days watching clouds and playing board games. Having such an IQ must be tiring indeed, Sakura thought. Hinata Hyuga, her teammate, was sitting there quietly in the middle of the classroom with her hands clasped together. The visiting girl with a black bob cut and powder white skin was wearing a sinister beige sweater with a forehead protector loosely tied around her neck. Sakura returned Hinata's shy wave with a smile as she passed by. Hinata was such a sweet, gentle girl who many doubted could ever be a good ninja. However, given the unique abilities she acquired from what was arguably the second most elite clan in Konoha, after the Uchiha clan, and the crazy perseverance that lurked within her, Sakura knew otherwise. And at the desk nearest the window sat Sasuke Uchiha, Team 7. He was usually quite punctual, so it was no surprise to find him in the classroom early. Probably didn't have much else to do, Sakura figured. Since he lived alone and his hobbies consisted of training and more training, Sasuke was gazing out at the academy grounds, with a characteristically serious expression planted on his face and a faraway look in his dark eyes. When he said Sakura approached the desk, he nodded agreeing and shifted along the bench so she could sit beside him. Sakura took her seat and cast her teammate a sideways glance. They hadn't interacted one-on-one since their strange exchange in the hospital after their battle with Sabusa. She never properly thanked him for sacrificing himself for her. He never explained his mysterious hissy fits. That Sakura was sure had to do with him thinking she was in love with someone else. Sakura sucked in a breath. Good morning, she tried politely while pulling a notebook out of her bag and placing it on her desk. Morning. Sasuke grunted without pulling his eyes away from the window. He didn't seem to be in a talking mood. Sakura filled her writing utensils while trying to think of what to say next. When she noticed that Shino had slipped in unnoticed and was sitting next to Hinata at the teammate's desk. The guy had to be the weirdest of the rookies. Not only because his specialty was controlling bugs, the bespectacled Dingeni was with thick brown hair and a collar covered his lower half of his face. He communicated with others, even less than Sasuke did, and a strange way of making himself almost entirely unnoticeable. Sakura's eyes drifted towards the door just as Ino entered the room. The platinum ball's head was high, characteristic demeanor regularly radiating through the room upon her entry. Until her eyes landed on Sakura, that is. Ino shot a seething glare at Team 7's desk through icy blue eyes, before turning her head away and taking her seat next to the snapping Shikamaru. Sakura's stomach gave an uncomfortable lurch at her friend's cold behavior, and taking her long to realize why Ino was acting like this. The last time they'd seen each other, she interrupted Sakura hugging Sasuke in front of the hospital and thanks for her surprise gifts. Sakura groaned and rubbed her temples. I don't have time for this, she thought, and was wondering how girls, including her former self, could be so petty. She needed to fix her friendship with Ino, and fast. After all, Sakura's supply of medical herbs was running low, and Ino was her only source. Casting a disgruntled glance at her black-haired teammate, Sakura decided she would prove to her friend that nothing was going on between her and Sasuke. She needed to if she was to salvage whatever was left of their rocky friendship. Instinctively, Sakura shifted a few inches away from Sasuke along the bench. He didn't seem to know it. Choji walked in next, holding a bag of chips. The round brunette boy was smiling, with chip crumbles smeared across his chin, as he tried towards the desk. He greeted his teammates and seemed oblivious that one was fast asleep and the other was wearing daggers to do all. Now the only one that was here. That only left, get back here, you cheating dirtbag! two loudest members of the Rookie Nine. Kiba Inuzuka for Team 8, and of course Naruto Uzumaki for Team 7. Ino was a close third on a scale of loudness, but Naruto always took the cake. Setoro's Bond came fighting through the door a few moments later with Kiba close on his hands. I win! Sakura exclaimed while punching celebratory fists in the air, skipping over to his desk. Kiba, dressed in a signature fur-lined jacket with a small white dot on Kamaru, arms folded and scowled. That chance! He snapped, pointing his keen eyes flashing in the dark eyes, narrowing. You pinned me to the ground with a closed head to get started. Iron Man rematch. I decline, Naruto beetled, taking his seat next to Sakura. Just accept defeat, Dark Breath. Kiba looked furious. Brandon's accusatory figure at Team 7's desk and bellowed. You think you're all high and mighty because your team got a bridge named after it? We all know you guys aren't special. Brandon scratched to his voice to make Sakura tense. Now Kiba was looking at the other members of Team 8 intent for support. The only support he seemed to get, however, was from Ino, who was sneering. The others, save Shikamaru, glanced his direction. Naruto clanked on the table. Oh yeah? He retorted, top of his slugs. I think you guys just can't handle the fact that we're better than... Naruto couldn't finish his thought. Now Sakura clapped a hand over his mouth and pulled him into a headlock. Shut up, Naruto! She hissed, dragging him back into his seat. Last thing she needed was for the rest of the Rookie Nine to turn against their team. Sure, they were a bunch of goofballs now, but Sakura knew that in a few years' time they would all be vital allies. They couldn't afford to separate that, especially with her and Ino already on shaky ground. Why should I? Naruto asked her with a pout. If he's got a problem with our team, I'll teach him a lesson. Sakura rubbed her temples and shot a pleading look at Sasuke. Levi was eternally staring out the window. It wanted nothing to do with this exchange. Can't really blame him. Because if you're quiet enough, I'll treat you to ramen after this, she said hurriedly. As anticipated, her mention of Naruto's favorite R word, everything changed. Ramen, he repeated, expressing something something rather dreaming. That would be nice, Sakura-chan. Thanks. Just like that, all thoughts of Kiba were momentarily erased from his mind. Sakura sighed in relief. Thankfully, her blonde teammate was rather predictable at this age, because being on good terms with the other rookies was her best interest. They all had uniquely advanced abilities, and, if she needed help executing her revenge, they were all more likely to listen to her than the adults in the village. Shortly after, Iruka walked into the room, ushered Kiba to his seat, and started distributing the progress reports. Naruto finished answering his progress report first. Sakura suspected because his answers were incomplete. He waited outside the classroom until Sakura finished her turn. So, still up for run? He asked excitedly, practically bouncing up and down on the balls of his feet. Sure, Sakura answered with a smile. She honestly missed spending her time with her dear friend. Despite this young version of Naruto being, well, more of a handful than older Naruto, she genuinely enjoyed his energetic presence. Sakura also had a hunch that her teammates still felt bad about hurting her in his Ninetales form, while it proved to him that he had her complete trust. Sakura was actually intending to ask Sasuke to tag along, but he finished his progress report before she did, left the room without a backwards glance. Once they took their seats at the bar in the Rasaraku and placed their orders, Naruto said, I swear I wanted to have lunch with you for years! Well, I guess I just needed to fight Kiba for you to agree. Maybe I should do that more often. A cheeky grin sprouted on his lips. No, you shouldn't, Sakura snapped. Look, Naruto, I know he's a little loud and competitive, but that doesn't mean Kiba's a bad person. Princess can't be deceiving, you know. Naruto seemed to be in deep contemplation. You're onto something, Sakura-chan, he mused. I mean, look at that Haku guy. Came off like an evil criminal, but once we got talking, I realized if we met any other way, we could have been really good friends. He swelled the distance for a moment, before turning back to Sakura and mischievous look in his eyes. Let me let you in on a secret, he had, peering around for eavesdroppers for dramatic effect. Haku's my pen pal now. Sakura raised her eyebrows. Really? Oh yeah, Naruto said, evidently pleased with himself. I mean, I only sent him one letter so far, but he said he'll update me on how things are going in the Land of Waves. Do you think you could keep me in the loop? Sakura asked. She tried to pull off a look of mild interest, while inwardly bubbling over with curiosity. It'd be interesting to learn what changes stemmed from the altered battle outcome. Naruto said, scrunching up his face in contemplation, when a hot bowl of ramen was set down on the counter. Maybe. He drawled in his usual sneaky manner, but I'll leave you treat me to ramen more often. Sakura shook her head, now too full of ramen to retort. You know, Naruto added thoughtfully between loud slurps, his voice lowering to a serious, matter-of-fact tone. That's how you make good relationships with people. You buy them stuff. Sakura was about to make a comment about how he had never offered her to buy anything, or might direct it to the other blonde friend, the one who she was certain hated her guts right now. Maybe that's what it would take to make amends with Hino. Buy her something, but what? A gift? A token apology? But what would Hino want? And what was Sakura really apologizing for in the first place? Okay, Sakura, I got this great idea. Okay, so there's this artist in Konoha named Sai. What we should go is buy an art, a picture that he draws of her and give it to her and say that Sai really, really likes her. I'm not sure, but I have money that there could be something brewing between those two. You just couldn't get by without one Boruto reference! Yep. She frowned at her bowl. Regardless, she vowed to pay a visit to the flower shop right after lunch. The conversation with Naruto during the meal were lighthearted and a little nostalgia-inducing. A few months ago, in fact, Sakura grabbed lunch with a taller, smarter version of the same guy. They spent it on both occasions, found plenty of things to whine about. And today, Naruto's complaint of choice was the progress report he just wrote. Honestly, though, that one question about goals and directions, what's that all about? Sakura sighed. Question 16. With the goals you listed for question 15 in mind, describe the direction you should take in your personal training. So you decided, it's not that hard, Naruto. Like, if your goal is to improve your taijutsu, just list the drills you'll practice. Naruto staring blankly at her. Whoa! He exclaimed with startling enthusiasm. As if you recited that exact question from memory! Do you have a super brain or something? He tickles himself before taking another huge slurp of drills. Look, just got that question wrong. He mumbled. I wrote. Left. But Sakura's mind was trained on his first comment. A super brain? Well, I suppose I always had top marks that didn't hit her. Her brain. Acing medical exam in the hospital. Photographic memory, the progress report, time travel. How did she think of this before? What did happen to her brain when she traveled through time? Through her years of medical studies, Sakura had done extensive research in neuroanatomy. One of the ground rules of this discipline was neuroplasticity, the notion that the brain changes shape over time. Well, more specifically, as a person ages and acquires knowledge, the brain gains new folds and wrinkles, allowing it to make complex connections that it hadn't been able to previously. So, as one learns, the brain changes physically. Sakura's mind was reeling. So, what brain does he have? The brain of a young teenager or the brain of an old teenager? Brains were physical, like any other part of the body. Sakura's body was, quite evidently, that of a young teenager. Then why did she ace her medical exam that morning? Sakura still had an older teenager mind and memories. She was certain of it. Did that mean her brain defied the physical properties of time travel? Then again, was time travel only physical? And if it wasn't, then what? Sakura-chan! Sakura was pulled back to the present with alerts, only to find someone new had arrived on the scene. Is it okay if Hinata joins us? Naruto asked with a huge smile. Hi, Sakura-san. He said Hinata, not Fluttershy. Trixie, I don't understand what you mean. Yes, I mean, this is my Hinata voice. And this is my Fluttershy voice. I realize I'll see the difference. The girl sat silent from her seat, next to Naruto, tucking a straight hand over her short, black hair behind her ear. Hinata's face was a fiery shade of red, showcasing her monstrous crush on a certain foxy blonde boy, who was completely oblivious to her feelings. I don't want to intrude, but I'm just here to apologize for Kiva's behavior today. It took Sakura a moment to remember what she was referring to. Oh, it's fine. Don't worry about it, Hinata, Sakura said with a smile, but she was struggling to focus. She was feeling quite lightheaded. Please join us for lunch, Hinata-chan! Naruto offered, patting the seat beside him. It's Sakura's treat. Sakura seconded Naruto's claim, after rolling her eyes from there. It didn't take much persuading for Hinata to take the offer. Sakura was trapped in a thought spiral for the rest of lunch. They missed herself a little early. Explaining to the others she was probably coming down with something. She left a lot of money on the counter to pay for all 3 meals, which, in retrospect, would have been better spent on weapons. Left the restaurant in a daze. Right when her life was starting to make sense, this new realization had to make its way to the forefront of her mind. What did it mean she had an older brain and a younger body? Did it mean her brain would continue to evolve with time, making her as smart as she was in her past life? Was her brain frozen like this? Or had she underestimated how intelligent her younger brain was? Sakura felt a headache come on. Man, I would give an arm and a leg to get my hands on an MRI machine right now. Even though she was working at the hospital, only technicians and highly skilled medics had access to the expensive machines in the radiation wing. We need to talk. A voice entered Sakura's consciousness. She froze in place, and after a moment, realized someone was standing near the building she was walking past. She turned towards the voice, and there was Sasuke, leaning against the brick wall with his arms folded across his chest. His eyebrow was arched, and an impressively cool expression on his face. And yes, he looks cool, all right. Rather attractive, too, in Sakura's opinion. But what kind of attractive was this? Was it mental attraction? Emotional? Sexual? Because sexual attraction required the activation of certain hormones, and hormones were produced in the brain. Then, was Sakura capable of feeling physically attracted to Sasuke right now, in this body with this brain? If not, why did the mere sight of him send her automatic responses on overdrive, fill her stomach with butterflies? Were these responses coming from something beyond the physical realm? Her head was throbbing now. I think I'm going crazy. Wait, hold that thought. He said something, didn't he? You want to talk? Sakura repeated, shaking her head to attempt to ward off her hyper-analytical train of thought. Sasuke nodded curtly. Well, sure, you know, like this said, I'm not going to repeat myself, idiot. Are you free right now? Sakura stared at him, because if he were anyone but Sasuke Uchiha, she might have wondered if he was asking her out. But he was! But being the highly unordinary individual he was, Sakura knew this had to be something else. Was he free right now? Where am I going again? I'm, heading to the flower shop. She says she remembered her pledge to visit Ino. Alright, Sasuke said, expressing indifferent. So, you're free. Let's go. And the next thing she knew, Sakura was being dragged along the road by her wrist. Wait! She spread confusion. What's this all about? Where am I going? Somewhere private. He answered over his shoulder without loosening his grip, as if he would run away if he did. Eventually, Sakura regained her footing and managed to stride alongside him. She cast Sasuke a confused glance, but was determinedly straight towards them and didn't seem interested in elaborating. Several minutes later, Sakura was standing in the entrance of Sasuke's flat. Well, that's where I think I am, she thought with a grimace, scanning the plain-looking hallway carefully. Sasuke finally released her wrist and beckoned her to follow him to a small hall. A simple question. Sit, he instructed, nodding towards one of the chairs at the table. Hesitantly, Sakura flipped off her shoes and obeyed, while wondering if she was currently being identified by an imposter. Actually, that's not even a stretch of the imagination. Before Sakura could demand who the hell he was, Sasuke spoke again. Chi? He asked a little awkwardly, while removing his forehead protector, running a hand through his matted hair. Raised his eyebrows as Sakura's direction when she responded. Oh! She said, blinking with surprise while easing herself on one of the chairs. Sure, yes. Sasuke nodded and moved towards the kitchen counters. Well, at this point, Sakura was certain of one thing. Sasuke lived here. Like how Sakura never set foot in this flat before. Not once in her former life had Sasuke invited her over. But Sakura wasn't ruling the imposter scenario out quite yet, so she began scanning her surroundings for escape routes. However, the more her eyes wandered, the more she took to know things that had no relevance to escape. Sasuke's flat looked relatively tidy, but perhaps that had more to do with how empty it was. His living room was visible across the wall, had nothing more than the bare essentials. A couch, a shelf, a window, The same could be said for his kitchen. Aside from a single picture frame on the living room itself, Sasuke clearly took no interest in essential surroundings. Sakura ran towards the living room, wondering how much time Sasuke even spent in this boring, empty place. He preferred isolating himself from his peers, but he'd been living completely alone since he was 8 years old when his family was killed. Surely, if he liked living here on his own, he would have made an effort to make it less like a prison cell. Sakura jumped at the sound of Sasuke setting mugs on a table. She spun in his direction, only to find he was watching her curiously, having caught her assessing his living quarters. She swallowed before hurriedly saying, "So, what's going on?" Trying to change the subject. Right. Instead, taking the seat opposite her, Sasuke rested his elbows on the table, surveying over his clasped fingers. "I need to ask you about something." Sakura remained silent, prompting Sasuke to continue. I was hesitating for some reason. What was he waiting for? Sasuke was quite normally blunt and direct with his inquiries. Then finally, "I know what's in that drawer." "That drawer? Hold it, he doesn't mean—" "What drawer?" Sakura asked numbly, pretending she had no idea what he was talking about. Because he couldn't mean the drawers he was hiding in time travel scroll around. Or could he? "The drawer in your bedroom," he said, and averted his gaze. "The one you asked me to set extra traps around." "Oh God, he knows!" Sakura began to panic. She must have spilled too much about her time travel mission after their pinecone fight. She knew she should have held her tongue. Now he knew everything, and her mission was good as— Wait, maybe he didn't know what the scroll was. Sakura gulped, finding the most collected face she could muster up. "What exactly did you find in that drawer?" she asked, emulating a professional tone. This was not a time to lose composure. Maybe she was trying to get her to admit what the scroll was, because he hadn't figured it out. But to her surprise, Sasuke averted his eyes, even further away from her, face flushing. "Look, Sakura," he growled. "When you told me you had a stalker, I didn't know it was like that. Why didn't you say anything?" "Say anything?" she echoed, perplexing and noticing his eyebrows were scrunched with worry. "What did he find? Oh, wait." Sakura suddenly realized what Sasuke found in her drawer. What was in her drawer? "My underwear," which meant he thought her stalker was— "You think I have a sexual predator after me?" she breathed, her jaw slowly dropping at unanticipated further events. Sasuke didn't acknowledge her comment. Rather, he stood up, pacing back and forth with his hands clasped behind his back. Sakura had a look of rejection as a yes. Yes, Sasuke did think Sakura had a sexual predator. "I didn't realize it was this serious," he said, Mrs. Pacing. "And since your significant other isn't around, I'll help you get rid of this stalker in his absence." The wheels were turning slowly in Sakura's head. Thus referring to the person she said she was in love with, who was in fact his future self. "I don't have a significant other, Sasuke," she said quickly, following his direction. He stopped his pacing. "Well, whatever you call him," Sasuke rabbit quietly. "Unless he's the stalker." Sakura rose to her feet with a surge of unplaced anger. "No, I assure you he has no interest in me. He left, and he's never coming back!" She spat, her voice rising. Sasuke glanced at his teammate and raised his eyebrow. "He sounds like an asshole," he mumbled, traces of disgust in his features. Sakura resisted the untimely urge to snort, because if only he knew who he was talking about. "Anyways," Sasuke continued, as if he never interrupted him. Sakura lowered back into her chair. "I'm going to help you capture your stalker." Sakura blinked. "Wait, hold it. The traps are just precautionary. There might not be anyone after me after all." And it was true. Sakura just had a horrible hunch. But she was met with a disbelieving glare. "Whether or not you cooperate with me doesn't change anything," Sasuke said simply. Sakura sighed and put her head in her hands. This is turning into a mess. But then, she was struck by a brilliant idea. "Fine, I'll cooperate with you," she said, swiveling her chair, placing her hands on her knees. "One condition." He folded his arms across his chest. "What condition?" Sasuke asked. Before she could weigh the applications of her proposition, the words tumbled out of her mouth. "You'll help me Break it to the hospital.